Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation discussion. And today we got some breaking news that I know a lot of you guys have been waiting on, which is the conclusion of the first ever global popularity poll for Naruto's manga, and the winner of which will be getting their own manga drawn by Masashi Kishimoto, the Naruto series creator. As I said back when this thing got announced, most likely this is going to be a one-shot manga, meaning one chapter like we got for the one shot, but based off the statement that Kishimoto gave, it looks like this is going to be a serious one shot and not something like the gag one shots we've gotten in the past, like Kiba's one shot where it was narrated by Akamaru, which is filled with comedy, as Akamaru was struggling to understand all the pairings we got after the Ninja War that suddenly popped up, where Akamaru saying that all these humans were in heat and they were about to start mating, but he said that he was lucky that Kiba had no one to mate with, which led to a very hilarious scene at the end with Tamaki, Kiba's girlfriend. So the results are officially in, and Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, not only held on, but he widened his gap following the results of the midterm, and it wasn't even close either. Like, Jesus Christ, this was a blowout. Minato won by nearly 300,000 votes, with the top 5 being rounded out by Itachi at 2nd place, Sakura at 3rd place, Shisui at 4th place, and Kakashi at 5th place. So let's look at what we have. When can we expect this manga to come out? How long will the manga be? Will it be a one shot or will it be a whole volume? What did Masashi Kishimoto say? And which two characters that were his favorites who he drew anyway for the Banpresto 20th anniversary figures that are going to be made based off his illustrations, but they didn't actually crack the top 20. Who did Kishimoto make an exception for? There's actually quite a bit on each of these, and I just want to say one thing. I think this list is a reflection not so much of popularity as a reflection on who a lot of fans wanted to learn more about, because that drove a lot of votes for people like Sakumo Hadake and Shisui, who, when you look at the Naruto manga voting polls, they never even sniff the top 10 in popularity polls when Naruto is running a Weekly Shonen Jump. A lot of fans voted via curiosity votes and not necessarily for their favorites. Anyway, let's dive into what we got here. So when can we expect Kishimoto's manga and how long will it likely be? There hasn't been an official date set yet, but I would expect something announced in Weekly Shonen Jump's magazine rather soon, unless they're going to go the route of only publishing it on Jump Plus, similar to how Chainsaw Man and Spy Family are only run in Jump Plus and not in the main magazine. That info is coming soon, though another place to keep your eye on is going to be the official Naruto website, because it looks like they're committed to actually keeping around a website that breaks news for everything Naruto related for once, because they've tried this in the past and these things haven't stayed up for a long time. So curious to see if that's what they're going to do with this one. As for the length of the manga itself, Kishimoto did say that he ended up drawing more pages than he expected for the manga, but there's been no announcement on the length of the manga. However, just based off of what Kishimoto has done in the past when it comes to stuff after Naruto's manga ended, my guess is that this is going to be a one-shot chapter and not a weekly serialization. For instance, when Naruto Gaiden, i.e. the Shin Uchiha arc, was announced, it was promoted as a weekly serialization as Naruto chapters 701 to chapter 710. Everything right now smells of a one-shot, like that Kiba one-shot, the Naruto and Hinata one-shot, the Mitsuki one-shot. That being said, the premise of this manga is that Kishimoto is going to draw Minato during the time he developed a particular jutsu, likely the Rasengan, but we'll have to wait and see. And it'll be curious to see what kind of wacky name Minato came up with before settling on the Rasengan. It'll also be pretty cool to see Minato's process towards making a new jutsu versus what his son Naruto did and what his grandson Boruto did. As for what Kishimoto did say, his statement reads as follows: "Thank you for the incredible amount of votes. It was fun seeing how results vary from region to region. I was shocked to see Minato at the top of all regions, and the fact that Sakura is so beloved by many people around the world made me proud as a writer. To tell you the truth, I was actually rooting for Kurama. I was planning on only drawing the top 20 characters, but I really wanted to add Kurama, who was close at 22nd, so I ended up including him and Guy, who was in 21st place. Sorry for completely ignoring the original plan to have the top 20 characters for the 20th anniversary because of my personal attachment. Right now, I'm working on the short manga for Minato, who placed first. While trying to make a story that would match the expectations of his fans, I ended up drawing more pages than I originally anticipated. please look forward to the secret story behind Minato's jutsu. I want to thank you all very much for voting. So there are a few things that stand out here. Kishimoto wanting Kurama to win makes sense just given the fact that the dude loves kaiju and he loves animals to a point where he tried making both the third and the fourth Hokage dogs at one point when thinking out the Naruto story, and he caved on the idea of the fourth Hokage not being a dog but was dead set on the third Hokage being a dog at one point that he even sketched it, but his editor Yahigi at the time scratched that idea saying it made no sense. So I'm guessing since he drew the 2 additional designs for Kurama and Guy, Ben Presto will probably make 2 more anniversary figures for Guy and Kurama as well. Kind of a flex move on Masashi Kishimoto's part. His statement about being shocked to see Minato at the top of all regions, I do see where he's coming from logically. I remember when he came to Comic-Con 2015, I was actually there in New York when that happened. The guy was shocked that Naruto was as big as it was in the United States. He had no idea how popular Naruto was worldwide, by his own words. He knew it was popular because of all the fan mail, but he had no idea that it was this massive, especially in North America. Minato being at the top of all regions probably shocked him because Minato in Japan, more often than not in the Naruto polls when the manga was weekly, usually ranged between 9 and 20, though by the time we got to the war arc and we had wrapped up Kushina's flashback in Naruto volume 53, Minato ended up skyrocketing from number 15 to 7 on the last poll that was done for Naruto's manga. Now, digging into the data, not only did Minato climb to the top in all the regions for voting, but when you break down the age and the gender, it makes a ton of sense why the gap was as large as it was. Minato finished unanimous in first place for every male group of every age range, and Itachi finished in second place for every male group with the exception of ages 10 to 19. Interestingly enough, Sakura finished third in the male age groups for 30 to 39, so the older half of the millennial generation, and for men over 50. For women, Sakura won first place in every female age group except ages 40 through 49 and 50 through 59, which is basically Generation X, the group that was born before my generation of millennials. Minato cracking into second place among older women and dominating third place votes is another sign of the strong Minato vote that we got. So you can see how the guy ran away with first place by nearly 300,000 votes. However, this is where I think we have to turn our eyes towards the whole Sakura thing, because I know there's already somebody probably comment in the comment section. So due to the echo chamber we have online, there's a bunch of people shocked that Sakura isn't universally hated like she is online, which I've always found odd, just based off of the data. There's a reason why in a 20+ year sample size that Sakura's merchandise more often than not had the highest sales for Naruto female characters, barring that surge that Hinata got around the middle of the manga. A character who led female characters in vote totals in 5 out of the 9 Naruto character polls of the manga and broke top 10 6 out of those 9 times, not including the other 2 wacky polls like your favorite jutsu and your favorite Akatsuki member and your favorite ninja from each individual village. I'm not as shocked when you think about it. I think a big part of this is both the echo chamber, and the other part is that Sakura fans organize a group chat and they're doing voting drives in order to get support for the character. A lot of people are under the impression that the voting total was skewed because of that, but the facts actually say otherwise. Did that Sakura fan base vote every day for a character? Yes, that was the literal point of the poll. Vote for your favorite character, not for who you think needs their own backstory explored more, not for who you're more curious to learn about. That's actually the intent of the poll. Vote for your favorite character. Now let's dive even further in this. There's this group chat that people have pointed out to that had 30 accounts in it, all conspiring on different ways to commit voting fraud, using VPNs to vote in multiple countries, using bots to vote as many as 50,000 times per person, and using incognito to vote on multiple devices. The issue is that none of those votes counted. They told us as much early on. Outside of using more than one device, and if it was on the same Wi-Fi connection, it likely got tossed out as well. Catching invalid traffic isn't as hard as a lot of people are trying to make it out to be. Looking at the numbers, let's use some logic here. Those 30 accounts voted 1,000 times per day for the 45 days that this poll was up for voting. Sakura would have had 1.3 million votes, not 480,000. If they managed to vote 50,000 votes per person daily, the total would have been 2.2 million. There's a reason why the official site said fraudulent votes would not be counted. Again, it's not that hard to catch fraud. Even if you use a VPN and use bot servers not connected to your IP address and you're switching from country to country, it will get caught. There's a reason why, say, the Indian YouTubers who try to cheat the system using bot views and VPN set in Western countries where the CPM is a lot higher on YouTube than it is in India, so that basically means they get paid more for every 1,000 views. Those views don't count, even though that video is played multiple times by using those methods. At some point in the month, YouTube does a sweep to weed out that traffic. They're not the only platform that does this. Even to get personal for a second, back when I worked for a politician, we ran polls online in order to gauge interest on a few things. We did other polls where you do it old school and you're going door to door and you're doing phone calls, etc. But we did do online polls as well. And there were tools at our disposal to get rid of fake votes. It's not rocket science, but we live in an echo chamber society where if something doesn't fit our narrative, we don't want to acknowledge something, we just stay willfully ignorant. However, finally, the top 99 list was so surprising to see. There were some familiar faces that line up with the Japanese popularity polls when Naruto's weekly. Kakashi, Naruto, and Sasuke consistently used to swap hands for that #1 spot, with the exception of when Deidara actually beat out Naruto for the 3rd spot. Those three were usually in the top 3 in Japanese fan votes. Itachi and Sakura being in the top 10, that also makes a ton of sense because both of those characters did consistently well in Japan when the manga itself was weekly. Shocking entries to me personally is Jiraiya dropping to 12, because at the halfway point, Jiraiya got a huge surge from North American voters. 1010 being at number 35 makes the Church of 1010 so proud, because you guys showed up for Lady 1010 when it mattered the most. Orochimaru being outside the top 20 was a little shocking. The same with the Deva path, i.e. the character everyone knows as Pain, being outside of the top 40. But again, I think some of that comes down to how people voted for not their favorites, but who they thought was most deserving. However, we got to end this video off with some Kurenai slander. Like, unless I'm reading this list wrong, Kurenai didn't even make the list. An OG Naruto character didn't even make the list. Look at some of these names that are on here. How does Tauntaun make number 91 out of 99 votes? And Ninja Cats, not even one in particular, just Ninja Cats, every Ninja Cat ever lumped in together, make number 98. Jesus. If it wasn't for that last fact, with my voice being as shot as it is right now, because I am sick as hell, I wouldn't even be doing this update video. I just would have published one of the Boruto fan theory videos I had already recorded.